Should I put it like you? All right, bet. I'm trying to see because I might do a question and answer on the live. What's happening? What's happening, man? I appreciate you guys tapping into Second Chance Success podcast, man. Look, first of all, I want to tap you guys in with the book based on what we're going to be talking about today. It's the Prolific Hustle. Turn your pain to passion and profits, right? Turn your pain to passion and profits. You could DM me, or there's going to be a link in the bio where you can reach out and get that. As a matter of fact, type in that you was at the live and put the word prolific in there, and I'll give you guys a discount, a heavy discount on that. Let's talk about it today, man. So, man, what I really wanted to touch on today is a topic that I've been hitting on Instagram, Facebook, and everything for a little bit now, but I never really went in extremely deep about it, right? And it's called pain, passion, and profits. This is a concept I came up with. I, I want to say when I was a couple years ago, maybe a year in the business, not even a year in the business, maybe like 8 months in the business, and I was like, how was I able to leverage the stuff that I had been through and everything to make a six figure income in multiple businesses and things like that, right? And I wasn't able to do that without first diving into the stuff that I had been through, the shit that I had came from, and I was like, dang, I've been through a lot of stuff. But the blessing of it is I was able to turn the things that I've been to into something that I was passionate about. And eventually I was able to turn that passion into like a profitable wage and eventually profitable business contracts, et cetera, et cetera. And this is what pisses me off, right? This is what makes me mad. It should make you mad if you're wasting away things that you go through, right? I remember when I was in prison, it was my brother Rick Dimmer. Big shout out to Rick Dimmer. I remember he used to come in and talk to us about the trades and the union, right? And he'll come in and he'll give us all the different game, give us resources to be able to tap in and come out and be more successful and whatnot, right? Because in prison, the thing that they do is like we're like the second chance workforce, and they give us these labor opportunities and whatnot, right? But I remember he came in there and he said, "Look, I'm gonna write a book. I'm gonna write a book, and I want to make sure they pay for every they're gonna pay me a penny for every single day that I did, right? Whatever. I might have butchered the way he said it, and that sparked something in me at that moment. I was like, damn, man, I done said in this joint right here, even though I was not saying I'm wrongfully convicted. Yeah, I mean I did my thing, and actually I took something that I should have taken. I got the rest off me. Y'all hear that later. But one thing that about it was like this, right? I was like, man, hold up, these people owe me for every little bit of time I did, right? So from that moment on, I was like, hold on, man, I'm finna get my get back on this, and I'm gonna get it in an economic way, right? And so that sparked something. The first thing I did when I got out was I wrote a book about it, right? Pro say the art becoming more. All right. So let's dive into that. Let's just work right there, right? A lot of you guys have been through some shit, some painful shit, some terrifying shit, some things that hurt you, that brought tears to your eyes. You feel like you were never able to come back up from, right? And you did. And your heart's still beating and you're still breathing. Yet you are not utilizing that to the best of your ability. You've taken it on the chin. Let's say you might still be going through something right now. You might still be going through something right now. You're not utilizing it to the best of your ability, right? I want you to ask yourself, why not? The answer is usually because you don't know how. See, we've been conditioned to take stuff on the chin. We've been conditioned, especially in my community, our black community, we've been conditioned to be tough through shit. We've been conditioned to make it through shit. We've been conditioned to thug it out, right? But the thing about it is after we thug it out, we don't do nothing with it. Or the closer we get to it, is we go tell the trauma stories, right? But we don't get nothing for it. We get exploited in all kind of ways. Most of the black movies are about our trauma stories, right? And we get hey, we they put our trauma stories in movies and pay us the least amount. We've been hearing about that big thing. We don't utilize it to the best of our ability. We don't take control of it. What I want you to understand is that every single thing that you've been through is a seed of opportunity to take it to somewhere different, to go to another level, right? And one thing I always say is, as long as you got this pen in your hand, bro, you could keep writing your story. So let's start at the pain part. I'm gonna give you a piece of my story in this book, in the prolific hustle, right? How to turn your pain to passion and profits. I have a chapter in there called Bye Bye Nanny, right? My grandma, I called her nanny. Everybody in the neighborhood called her nanny. For the time I grew up, she was the one that brought me in after my dad was murdered before I was born, and my mom couldn't really handle what was going on with my brother and I, so I was able to go stay with my grandma in the Church Projects in Seattle, Washington, and so as I got older, that was my only source of stability. It was my only source of understanding, my only source of love, compassion, right? In an environment that was pretty bad at that time. And I remember as I got older, I started getting a little more mischievous. It goes from I'm getting suspended at school and getting kicked out of school. I don't realize the internal anger that's going on inside of me because I'm hurting because my mom's not there. I'm hurting because I don't know my dad. I'm hurting because I got this long hair and people are hating on me, talking all kind of crazy stuff to me. I'm hurting because I'm getting jumped. I'm getting beat up in my neighborhood. I'm hurting because I'm walking out. I'm seeing drug dealers. I'm seeing people getting beat up on and hurt and getting shot and all these different things. And I'm hurting because I don't understand the environment I'm coming from. I'm internalizing all that anger, right? And so what happens is when you start internalize these angers, they come out in behaviors that you're not ready for, right? And there's blind spots that you don't even see, especially if you're not aware of it, right? So from 7 to 10, 12, I'm just in trouble, suspended, expelled, I'm psychiatric counseling, you name it, right? When I turned 14 years old, by 14 years old, I'm in an alternative school called John Marshall Alternative School. It got shut down. It was crazy. I had cells in there. They was slam kids on their heads, all kind of crazy madness that happened with that school, right? So I'm at Marshall Alternative School. I have to ride a cab to and from school. I have to wait in a fence in order to leave the school. I have to get escorted to the bathroom. I have to get escorted to classrooms. I have to get escorted to lunchrooms. I have to stand by the door to make sure none of these bad kids come out the room, right? Because we're considered like closed custody kids, which is crazy. That's school to prison pipeline. We'll get on another podcast. But one day I come home and I take my little nap and everything, and I'm sleeping and I hear something in the background. I hear a door and I hear somebody talking in the background. Now, mind you, these are white people voices. And in my projects, there weren't no white people like that in my projects, right? And so I'm like, what the hell is that? What's that sound I hear? So as I get up a little bit, my grandma comes upstairs, Danny comes upstairs. She got tears in her eyes. And she gives me a kiss. And I'm like, what's going on? She's like, I need you to take care of yourself. I'm like, what the hell's going on? I'm still kind of confused right now, right? So these two a white woman and a white man, take her, handcuff her, and take her out. What I didn't know until that point when I was 14 years old is my grandma had got out of prison for some serious stuff. Excuse me, she had escaped from prison for some serious stuff and then changed her life when she got me, right? But now the consequences were coming back to get her later down the road because it was taking away our food stamps, our social security, et cetera, et cetera. She could no longer take care of me without handling her business with that core stuff. So you gotta understand again, that was my only source of stability. That was the only person that I knew that loved and gave me compassion, that had unconditional love for me ever. That was taken away right before my eyes. To that point, man, I didn't know what to do in my life. I didn't even know how to take care of myself. Okay. And so when she left, my mom didn't take me in initially because I was trying to figure out if she's gonna get out or when she's gonna get out. So what happened is I started staying with my brother, my homeboy, but I called him my brother at the time. So at this time, man, I'm like, damn, I'm trying to figure out how to get food. So I'm stealing. I'm running up over here. I'm trying to sell some little weed at the store. I'm doing whatever I can to scavenge and get some money to make sure I got some food. I'm tapping in with nanny's friends. They're giving me little dollars and stuff to help pay the rent. So I'm trying to figure out how to sell this and do this to pay the rent, right? I'm doing the most I can with the least amount of things that I have at my disposal, right? Now, listen, I'm doing the most I can with the least amount of things that I have at my disposal right now, right? And so eventually, when this happens, I eventually go to my mom's, and now I'm like, okay, mom's struggling too. Mom's struggling with my two sisters and her dude and everything like that. So I remember coming back to the house one day, and she got five like t-shirts, not real polos, like polo t-shirts, and like here's school clothes. That's all I could do. So from that moment on, I said, okay, I gotta grind. I got to take care of myself at this point in time, right? I got to be the one to make it happen. So I started selling candy. I started selling weed. I started making different moves in order to make sure I could supply myself with the stuff that I needed because nobody else was going to do it to me and nobody else could do it for me. Excuse me, nobody else was going to do it for me and nobody else was going to do it for me at that time, right? Now, I say all that to say this. How is that applicable to what I'm talking about? My grandma left me when I was 14 years old. That's the only thing I ever knew. It was the worst pain I've ever felt in my life, right? That sparked a lot of anger that I had from before. But it made me independent. It made me resourceful. I'm not saying, I'm not justifying the way that happened. That's okay to shake on your kids. The kids had to shake, whatever. It wasn't her fault. But what I'm saying is it made me independent and it made me resourceful. I didn't tap into that understanding until later on down in my life. However, had that not have happened, that may not have been, you may not have been seeing me right now. I may not have made the moves on my own as I did. I may not have been able to start the nonprofit business out of my living room from personal funds, figuring it out as I went, right, to get to the point I am right now. I may not have been able to do that if Nanny wouldn't have got taken from me at 14 and I wasn't forced to become independent. I wasn't forced to become resourceful. I wasn't forced to take things on my own and say, fuck it, let's make this happen, right? A lot of you guys right now, you guys probably got left by your dad. Might got left by your moms. Might have been your grandma you got left by. Shit, you might have got left by your boyfriend, your girlfriend, your husband, your significant other, whatever the case may be. Where you may have had a relationship with them where they took care of half this. They might have took care of the whole thing. And you may waddle in the pain. It may be a sad thing at the moment, but you have to sit back and think, okay, bet where I'm at right now, where's the growth point? Where's the seed of growth right here? Where's the seed of opportunity at this point in time right now? What must I do to step forward and make progress and start building this ship as I'm flying? Because now it's go time, right? But that's a pain point. So one thing I talk about in the book is pain points, right? You have to be able to identify these pain points in your life. This is important. If you're watching this podcast right now, what I want you to do, right? And even if you got to go back on the recording, because I'm gonna save the video, I'm going live on IG. Follow me at The Prolific Tay. What I want you to do is sit back and write down the different pain points in your life. In the book, I wrote down multiple. I wrote down when my grandma left. I wrote down when my mom kicked me out. Right. I wrote down sitting back thinking at points in times where I waited on the porch wishing my mom was going to come, but she couldn't come at the time. I waited on points where I was thinking about, damn, I wish I had a dad right now. I waited on points where I got beat up or I got jumped. I waited on points where I seen friends get killed. I wrote down points where we didn't did some things and I felt horrible remorse and regret after it, right? So I wrote down all these different pain points. You have to write down your pain points because that's the beginning of it all. Is identifying where it started, right? It's identifying where it is that you can pull your source of motivation from, your source of inspiration from, your source of magnificence from. You understand? Because without those points, it doesn't make you. You feel what I'm saying? You're not made because those points you have to go through. This thing with Jordan Peterson, man, he's a professor that I follow and I listen to a lot. One thing he said, it says life's chaotic, right? You're born in chaos, you die in chaos, right? It's the in between that you get to live. You feel what I'm saying? It's the in between you get to live. So in this life, this quote unquote chaotic, we have to find ways to make this a learning experience, a living experience. We're so focused on, damn, I'm here to be happy. I'm here to be joyful. And that's dope. Don't get me wrong, right? We all want to experience happiness, want to be joyful, but that's not a permanent state. That's not a permanent state, bro. You choose your happiness, you choose your joy. You have to make it through the shit you got to go through as you go through it. You feel me? Real talk. So what I want everybody to understand is like write down those pain points right now. Get those pain points. Identify where it is. I don't care if you gotta pause this point right now and go sit back on it for a minute. Don't come back to it till you did it. All right. I want you guys to do that. Let me take a drink of my water real quick. Thank you. Yeah, man. So excuse me. I want you guys to understand that. So we're starting at the pain point. Now I'm gonna talk to you guys a little bit about the passion. When you're passionate about something, you're willing to go all in for it. You're willing to step forward in faith, right? Even in the Bible, to my people that read the Bible out there, like faith without works is dead. There's something inside of you that should spark a flame, like the little flaming heart emoji. Something inside of you that should spark a flame, right? That I guess we can call it our purpose, the reason why we're here. It comes from our deep why. All these different things we come, but it's a passion of yours, extreme passion. I'm not just saying like some people think of passion is like, oh yeah, I like to draw, but you draw like once every 6 months or every other week or something like that. No, I'm talking about something that you wake up thinking about, you go to sleep thinking about, you dream about, right? You can't go a day in your life without it coming across your mind and figuring out how to get it going, right? It's a passion point. It's a passion point, right? And so oftentimes, oftentimes I say it in two ways, right? Oftentimes your passion is found where you were in the beginning when you were young, before the world took over you, right? And or at the point where you had some of the most pain, right? It's on the flip side of that. We'll dig into that. Now, let's talk about where you were in the world before excuse me, where you who you were as a person before the world took over you. So when you come into this life, there's all sorts of things that are pushing on you as you get older, right? You got your environment, you got your friends, you got your family, you got your friends telling you should be like this and do this. You got your family members saying, "Oh, I want you to be this, I want you to be that, you have to be that." You got media telling you, look, the rappers, the singers, whatever the case may be, everybody's putting something into you, right? Everybody's putting something into you. And as you go, you got your experiences, right? You have all these different things put onto you. So it's like walking through with it's like walking through with some kind of glue on you, right? And you have all these different things flowing, blowing in the wind, sticking to you. So then by the time you get like 3, 4 blocks down, you got all this stuff. You don't even know what you look like originally no more. Right. So one thing I touched on in that is like I remember because right now I do a nonprofit mentoring, we mentor young adults and resource their family. So I remember when I was younger, I didn't notice until I got later. This will get to that story. But I remember when I was younger, I always worked with kids, right? I always loved kids. And I'm not just saying oh my God, is this kid's so cool, whatever the case may be. I mean, there was actions behind it. I remember I taught 12 kindergartners when I was in the fourth grade how to ride bikes. And I think over half of them didn't have dads or big brothers, right? And that was something that was just by happenstance put on me, right? I remember being when I growing up in Goonville in the pink apartments over there off of Yesler. I remember I used to come into there, and I didn't have a lot of money myself, but there'll be a gang of little cats right there, like 7, 8 of them. You know what I mean? And I have a little stack of dollars, something like 20, $30 or something like that, and I'll make them rap or say something fun or da da da, and I just throw them some money. Here, take all this money. You feel what I'm saying? So I always and then that used to make me feel good in my darkest times. So I always had a passion for that, even when I was younger. But it wasn't until I got a little bit older that I realized that. Now I'll take you to my passion point that I talk about in the book. What some people know, if you know my story, others don't, is that Pro Say Potential, our nonprofit working with these young folks, actually started when I was in jail. It was an idea that I had when I seen these young folks that were coming into the system. They were younger than me. I was 22 at the time, facing that life sentence. And I'm seeing these young people coming here playing in games with the time they were facing, right? Because they weren't really facing no time, but they'll go in and come back. They'll go in, they'll go out, go out and come back in, go out and come back in. Because they didn't have a vision. They had nowhere they were going in life. So they were like, I don't even care where I end up. Well, look, let's take a pause right there. They had no idea or no care where they were going in life at all. So they didn't care where they would end up. When you don't have a vision, bro, you're like a paper bag blown in the wind. You're going here and there. You will end up wherever the case may be, right? So when I was in there, I was like, damn, these young cats don't even know what's coming for them. So I was like, hold on, little see, what do I have at my disposal? Again, resourceful, right? Doing the most I can with the little as I have. I said, okay, I got some honey buns, I got some top ramen, I got some candies and whatnot, these different things that have monetary value in the jail system. So I said, hey, look, young bros, if you guys go ahead and create this goal plan, I got you. I'll give you a couple honey buns. If you guys create this vision for me and bust it down, I'm gonna give you guys some candies. If you guys go ahead and read this book and come give me a report on it, I'm gonna make you a dinner. Right? That was something that was past that was a passion of mine. And again, I didn't even understand it at the moment. Right? It was something that my heart and my soul burned with fire. I would go to sleep thinking about these young folks. I would wake up thinking about these young folks. I would be going to court like, okay, how do I help these young folks even more? Because I want to make sure that they don't go down the same path I have. And the thing about it is when you're moving in flow, when you're moving in passion, when you're moving in purpose, things just go. Right. I was having the case management time and mentorship time with these young folks before I even knew what that stuff was. And what started happening is they started seeing decreases in the area that I was in with the fights and the problems between the COs and the youth and all these different things because of the things that I was doing for my passion. That's what's going to happen when you're moving in passion and when you're moving in purpose, right? Again, These was honey buns and top ramen. There was nothing. It was all I had, but it was moving in passion. So what I want you guys to understand right now is there's something that you're supposed to be doing right now. I don't want to say you could. There's something that you're supposed to be doing right now that's deep down inside you that you're not. But I want you to dig deeper between before you have to go to get locked up to do it, dig deeper into where you came from, right? What were some of the things that you enjoyed when you was younger, when you was a child, when you was a kid, before the world touched you, before the hood touched you, before the gangs touched you, before the squad touched you, before the dude touched you, before the female touched you? What were some things that you enjoyed about yourself? What were some things you enjoyed to do, right? What were some things that you enjoyed to do? Where was it at? Because that's going to be where you're going to find your passion. That's going to be where you find your purpose. It's the stuff that you enjoy way before everybody else told you. Listen, man, before I would drink before I was drinking or anything like that, you feel what I'm saying? I used to go like watching animals. I used to love animals. You know what I'm saying? It could be as simple as that. And that's just true for me. I used to love animals. It's therapeutic. I didn't know that, right? So once I dove in, I figured that out. Now when I'm feeling high anxiety, when the stress of the business is taking on me, when the stress of the world's taking on me, I honestly I go down, I put on some National Geographic, or I put on the Animal Channel or something. I watch animals and it calms me. So now it's therapeutic. It's something that I utilize, right? It's something that was a passion of mine. But let's tie these two in. Let's tie these back in. So we got the pain, we got the pain points, and we have the passion. These things are interconnected. I'm gonna tell you why, because I told you that diving in before the world touched you. Now I'm gonna tell you how to flip your pain on the other side. Every slice of bread got another side, right? Everything has another side. It's polars. You feel what I'm saying? Yin and yang, good and evil. I'm good and bad. Blase blah. What I want you to understand is the most one of the most trying times for me was when I was facing a life sentence. Now, and I'm not just talking about facing a life where they say the max you can get is that. No, I'm talking about nah, bro. You about to get 150 something years. You got caught with these guns in the back of the car. You're on camera shooting. You just got out for multiple robberies. You got out for multiple robberies before that. You got no way to get it. Your fingerprints on the gun. You can't get away from this. That's the type of life sentence I'm saying I'm facing. No joke, no game. Had to fight it for 14 months, go all the way to try to get it up off me. That's some real shit, right? That's the worst shit I've ever been through in my entire life, right? But here's what I did. Once I realized that that was my passion, working with these young folks, once I did go do my little bit of time, I sat down and I found a way to turn that into something better. So when I got out, so when I was in there, I had ideas. I'm like, okay, I could do this, I could start this, I can get that going. I could make this happen. I could now let me tell you, this is gonna go back into the purpose thing. My goal was not to go and work with a bunch of young people. That was not my goal. My goal wasn't to build a nonprofit. That was my first goal. It was gonna come eventually, but that was my first goal. My goal was I got my carpet certificate. I was gonna start a business, a business building houses and all that kind of stuff, and getting the real estate, get that going, then eventually get the nonprofit, et cetera, et cetera. So I got out and I started doing that. I started going lives, doing the motivational stuff for the adults and everything. I'm ignoring the whole population that I was really in purpose for. Shit wasn't working out, bro. This would happen. I would lose a position here. I would do this here. I would lose that. All this other stuff, right? So eventually, what I did was I had this calling inside that said, write a book. I wrote a book called Pro Say The Art of Becoming More. That was the first book I ever wrote. It took off. And the crazy part about it is the way that I geared it was for young people, right? I geared it for the people that I was working with inside, hoping that they would get it before they had to go inside. If they were inside, I could send it back and they could have it. So then they won't have to go back inside, right? And it took off. That's when I realized, hold on, wait a minute, bro. Is this that flow thing that we're talking about? Let's go back to that flow. Is this what I'm supposed to be doing? Because there was no hiccups, there was no drop things, there was no losses, there was none of that. It was just going. Once the book came out, I was on. This is in the Zoom time, so I spoke in some, like, I think it was like Greece or something like that, the Caribbeans, Africa, all these different places. I was able to get on their platform and speak on them based off of that one book because they wanted me to talk to the young folk. So I had to sit back and realize, hold on, wait a minute, bro. I'm moving in passion right now. This is based off the shit I've been through. And the thing about it, right, is when you teach, you educate, or you provide awareness to something that you've been through, it's going to be the most authentic, which means you're going to get the best results, right? So I'm able to talk to a certain population of individuals because I've been through a lot of shit that a lot of this population of individuals have been through. And I'm able to connect because I've done it. I've been there and I can empathize with you. right? I might not be able to go into a top level exec building and speak about how to crunch numbers and analyze statistics and all that kind of stuff. I ain't had to do that. You get what I'm saying? But I understand how to go to the bottom of the bottom to the hell's core and rise up out that bitch as a phoenix and come from the ashes and make some of yourself. I get that. You feel what I'm saying? So when the book came out, it started pushing me towards all that. I'm like, okay, let me just ride this wave. Let me roll in this flow of passion, right? But it came from that pain point. The most hurtful shit was from what? Me doing that time in prison, having to sit in prison, having to sit in jail, forgive me, and not know when I'm ever getting out. And I turned it into a book, right? That was the first point of profit. But we didn't even dive into that. But that was my first point of profit from a book. Every month to this day, that book came out 3-4 years ago. And every month to this day, I get paid from Amazon. From a book that I put out 3 or 4 years ago. That's passive income. You get what I'm saying? But we're gonna get into the profit. But what I want you to do right now is understand, look, you could have, and this gets sensitive, right? There could have been a time you could have been raped. You could have been raped. You could have been molested. You could have been shot. There's all kinds. You could have killed somebody, right? And got out. You know, it's on your conscience. You could have seen your friend got killed. There's these different points of pain that you've been through that you can sit back and find a flip side of passion. You could have been raped. You could have been molested. Well, how do you write a book, or how do you put an ebook out? How do you put something out, right, that shares your story and raise awareness towards that's going on? And then how do I double back actually and get maybe a nonprofit started or a business started about going to these institutions and making contracts about how to avoid that happening again, right? I'm giving a lot of game a little early, but I'm saying, right? You can flip that pain point and make it your passion. But before you can do that, you have to deal with it head on. You have to address it. You have to sit back with it and feel that shit. Some of us ain't to that point. We haven't felt that shit yet, right? We've been ignoring it. We've been drinking it away. We've been drugging it away. We've been partying it away. We've been fucking it away. Excuse my language. I'm just naming some of the stuff that I did to numb it, right? So I'm right here with you. But before we could turn it into a passion, we got to address it. We got to sit back and be like, dang, you know what? This really happened to me, right? This happened to me. How did it happen to me? But this isn't me. This was a circumstance in my life. This was a situation in your life. This is not you, right? Whatever happened to you is not you. And it's not your fault all the time, right? Especially when it's somebody else doing something to you, right? Now, there are other times where it could be your fault. It's me going to prison. It was my fault. I made a set of choices and decisions in my life that led me straight there. Now I make a certain set of choices and decisions in my life to lead me away and keep me away, right? But I want you to understand, you have to sit in that pain. Understand it. Think to solve problems. And that's, people think they're thinking is because they got random ideas and thoughts floating in their head. You're not thinking adequately until you're thinking to bring solutions. That's proper thinking. Thinking is having a bunch of stuff floating in your head like birds flying air ain't shit. I didn't realize that how little bit I thought until I started thinking. That's when I became mentally exhausted. You'll know you're thinking when you get tired. But it's like a muscle. As you keep on working it out and flexing it, I promise you, you get stronger, right? Especially when your mind's your most powerful tool, your most powerful asset, right? So I want you to sit in that pain, develop something from that pain. And once you wrote down those pain points, you identify those pain points, you felt that, I want you to flip it on the other side. Figure out how to flip it on the other side and say, okay, where can I find my passion in this? Where in here can I help somebody else? Where can I solve a problem here? Right? Where can I bridge a gap right here? Right? For me, the gap was providing practical tools in ways that are simple enough to apply to your life before you had to go to jail, juvenile, or prison, or if you was just coming out. That was a book. That was the easiest way I could bridge a gap. Right? That's my passion. So I want you guys to understand that. Find that pain point and then flip it on the other side and find where the passion could be in it. Write that. I want you guys to write that down, man. Flip it out, figure out where the passion is. In my IG live, people, I hope you guys is listening to that right now too, man. Find that pain point, writing that pain point down and flip it to where you can find where that passion point is, man. We're giving some good game right here, man. So next we're gonna get into a little bit of the profits, bro. Probably what everybody's waiting for, but you can get to a little bit of profits because I don't believe you should ever go through something without making a profit through it. You feel what I'm saying? Real talk. Gotta stay hydrated. Mm. Okay, so far we've been through the pain part, the bye nanny and everything, where I became the most resourceful and the pain part of me staying in jail, facing life sitting, how bad it hurt, blah, blah, blah. And we went to the passion points and how I was able to flip that point and figure out what my passion was to help other individuals to bridge a gap between and bringing self-help practical tools to somebody before they have to go through the stuff that I've been through, right? And aligned with that, we kind of made the profit. So with the book, that was my first form of passive income, was writing that book. And it was the best decision I ever made. See, I'm gonna give a little extra bonus, a couple bonus things in here, right? There's three things. There's all kind of things that could have stopped me from writing that book. One, I was on house arrest. Fresh out of prison, I was on house arrest, bro. There's a lot of pressure going on. I just got with the person that I had really had my stability since I was 16 years old. My daughter and son's mom, we had broken up. I had ended up at having to get my own place, lost a job, all this other kind of stuff, right? There's so many things that could have stopped me from writing that book, but I wrote the book, right? But let me tell you guys, let me help you guys identify three of the biggest things I see that get in the way of people potentially making some sort of profit off of what they could make a profit or just getting started, right? Listen, ignorance, laziness, and fear. I'm gonna show it to my IG people too. Look, ignorance, laziness, and fear have destroyed so many ideas from coming into fruition that it is crazy, right? Let's start off with ignorance. So I promise you, we're gonna get into the profit parties, but I really want you guys to get into this mindset, right? Because it's a mindset thing. I say this, I say this, I say that it's mindset before money, mindset before money, mindset before money, bro. Because even if you get the money, you get the bag, you're gonna fumble if you don't have the proper mindset to handle the bag. Trust me, I done fumbled a bag before. I done fumbled a couple bags, right? But listen, ignorance. Ignorance. Some people use ignorance as a negative connotation. You don't really understand what ignorance means. Like, you're hella ignorant. It's like they equate it to being stupid or being retarded, all these other things, right? That is actually stupid. It's a misproper use of the words. Ignorance is just the lack of knowledge. That's all ignorance is, right? It's a lack of knowledge, right? Therefore, if you're ignorant to something and it's just a lack of knowledge, what do? You just go get the knowledge, the information. There's information out there everywhere at this point. To this point, you gotta force yourself to be there because knowledge is literally thrown at you from every direction. They're on ads, they're on Instagram ads, they're on the Facebook ads, they're on the Snapchat. It's everywhere, bro. You can't you gotta it's harder to ignore it than it is just to embrace it and take it on now, right? So ignorance is something, it's a choice thing at this point, bro. It's a choice thing. You're choosing not to take in what you want to do. And and I broke this down in another book, right? But ignorance, this is how you get away from ignorance, bro. Once you figure out what it is that you want, just immediately go look that shit up. And it's so simple, bro. It's so simple. I Google everything. Now I'm Chat GPT, and that's an AI thing, right? I Chat GPT shit. If I don't know it, I go look it up. I do my knowledge, right? Because you don't want the fact that you're willing to stay ignorant be the reason why you don't write that book or you don't start that business or you don't eventually make six figures or more, you don't make the meal, whatever the case may be, which affects your generations to come. Because at this point, you're selfish, you're not moving for your next generation, right? Don't let ignorance be the reason. Don't let ignorance be the reason why you don't take the shit that you've been through and flip it over to a passion, right? And make a profit out of it. Don't let ignorance be the reason. I just gave you guys game on how to turn your pain to passion already. So that's enough information right there. Don't let ignorance be the reason. Listen, next one, laziness. And listen, laziness ties into the lack of knowledge because you have to be lazy to not want to get the knowledge because it's given to you. Laziness, bro. That's a sin. Laziness. Some of you guys don't want to get off that game stick, bro. You don't want to get up out the bed. You don't want to put in a couple extra hours. You feel me? You don't want to go do this extra step because you're in an instant gratification point and you don't want to be the one to have to go through the process to get to the profits, bro. That's stupid as fuck. Come on. Real talk. Miss something, man. Come on, bro. Gonna miss something, man. Real talk. And I always tell people, man, look, listen. When you miss steps, you misstep. When you missteps, you misstep. You're trying to rush to something, bro, but you don't realize in that process what's going to build you up. That's the point of it. The end result is not even the goal, bro. It's the person you become in between getting to the end result. That's the goal. You feel what I'm saying? Creating Pro Say Potential, my first business, was not the goal. The person I had to when I was in the joint, when I'm losing homeboys in there, when I'm having to walk away from home from my partners because I'm changing my life route, when I'm deciding to go to sleep early at night, and I'm deciding to wake up at 4 or 5 in the morning, when I'm deciding to read books and put this knowledge in my head, when I'm deciding to study this and take these classes, when I'm deciding to go to college and doing all these different things, and the struggles it is in there while I'm trying to maintain my sanity. Pro Say Potential is all that. If it wasn't for that process, bro, I wouldn't be the person I am now. There would be no Prolific Tay. That's the point of it, right? So let's bring that back. I could have been lazy. I could have laid on my bunk all. I've seen people there's people that laid on their bunk all day, every day. They got up, they ate, shit, slept, and went back to the bunk. They hit no gym, they didn't pick up no book. They talk to the same people they were when they're out there. They're doing the same shit, and guess where they are? They're back in there, or they're dead. I'm gonna tell you that right now. I can't tell you on two hands how many people I know right now that are either dead, that I seen doing that shit, or right back in there. You feel what I'm saying? So laziness will literally kill you. Laziness can literally and will literally kill you. Okay? And here's a gem of laziness. This is how I trick my mind, right? If I even feel a piece of laziness, and I'll even tie that to procrastination a little bit, right? Listen, as soon as I get an idea, fuck that. I'm gonna give you an example. Listen, when I decided I want to write that book, right? How do you think I really sat there and was like, okay, I want to write a book. I want to write a book. I want to write a book. Damn, I don't feel like I want to write. No, what the fuck I did? I got up, grabbed my laptop, opened it up, and wrote the first title. You feel me? The first chapter name. Then I wrote the second chapter name. I wrote 10 chapter names. And I'm like, okay, bet. Here's 10 chapter names. Well, I'm kind of committed now. So let me just start writing the first sentence. Second sentence, third sentence. I got a paragraph. Now you got a paragraph. You're like, oh shit, okay, well, man, maybe I could do a page. Next, you got a page, you got a chapter, you got a book. You know what I'm saying? That's how that goes. If you ever sit back and think about, damn, it's gonna be a long thing for to get the finished product or whatever this is, think like this, bro. Write the first sentence. All started with a sentence. You get what I'm saying? As soon as you think on something, act on it. Execution, 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 execute, execute, execute. As soon as you think on something, you have to act on it immediately. Because that's how you start getting the motivation and the confidence to keep going, because you start seeing results, right? I tell people like this, you want one small win a day. And that's all you have to take. But if you get at least one small win a day, what happens is it moves you forward to go get more wins throughout. And there's a compound effect that happens, and it builds on top of each other. And next, you got some results that you weren't thinking is going to be there, but now you're like, oh shit, now I got to keep up with the wave. You get what I'm saying? But you got to make that first move. You got to make that first move. And this takes us over into fear. Fear kills, bro. It might be one of the highest percentage of shit that kills people. Fear, bro. We're scared of some shit that's not even real. The thing about fear is oftentimes, bro, most of the time, the shit that you're scared of don't even happen. Right? It doesn't even happen. You get what I'm saying? And so we sit there and we stress over something that it's not even reality. It's not even, you're living in your head with this, right? And I understand it, because there was times where I was in fear. There was times when I was fighting that trial, when I was representing myself in court, I was in fear. I was terrified. When I called my attorney and told him I'm firing him, and was like, all right, I'm doing this on my own. I hung that phone up like 5 minutes later. I was like, oh shit, what did I just do? I would have picked that phone back up so quick and make the call back. Like, oh no, wait a minute. No, let me take that back. Let me take that back. Hold on, wait a minute, bro. But I said it, I'm like, damn, I'm committed now. That's the thing. I had this process, right? When I was in the streets, I would call it the fuck it thing. I go 1, 2, 3, fuck it. Right? No matter what skit we was on, lick we was on, what movie we was making, I wouldn't allow myself to think too much about it. I'd be like, 1, 2, 3, let's get it popping. Because I know if I burnt the ships down, I hopped and got it popping, I'm already in the consequences now. I'm willing to take whatever. I'm already into it. Now I'm gonna put my all into it, 100%. Right? I do the same thing today. Just in a more positive note. When I said I did that with my attorney, I said, fuck it, I'm already committed. So that forced me to have to go study law. That forced me to have to practice that, because I'm already committed now. I done cut the ties to the boat. You get what I'm saying? I done cut the ties to the boat. And so when I did the business, when I finally quit my job and I went into the business, I was like, damn it, all right, I'm not gonna think about it. I'm done. Now let me go back on this real quick. You know what I mean? Let's go back on this. I'm not telling everybody go just immediately quit their job, go start a business. That's not the game I'm giving you at the moment, right? You feel me? There's a point we get to that point, right? But what I'm saying is you have to don't give yourself that time. Use that 1, 2, 3, fuck it if you got to. You gotta say, man, 1, 2, 3, fuck it, let's go. Do what you have to do immediately, bro, before fear can get you. Because most of the time, I'm gonna tell you right now, it's not even real what you're scared of, and 99% of the time, it's not gonna happen. You feel me? And if it's gonna happen, then most of the time you can't do shit about it. That's why you're scared of it in the first place. So you gotta ride anyway. You get what I'm saying? But don't let fear be the reason why you're not able to turn some shit you've been through to some kind of profit by figuring it out, right? Don't ever do that, bro. And that's anything in life. So ignorance, laziness, and fear are some things that'll kill you. I want you to write those things down and write the solutions I told you right now. Ignorance, go find the information. Laziness, get started immediately. Fear, do it now. You get what I'm saying? Those three things, get past them, right? So look, let's go over to the profit part of this shit, right? Look, so we had the pain. We had the pain. The pain point, as I said, was me being in prison, facing a life sentence, all the stuff I've been through in my life, blah, 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 right? The passion was I was able to flip that on the side and be like, okay, there's a gap that I can feel. There's a gap that I can feel. I feel good about this. I want to mentor young people. I want to help these young folks because I wrote a book about it, practical lessons to help people out, etc. And etc. And I was able to build from there, right? But listen, let's go into the profit part of it. And I don't want people to take a negative connotation from that and say, because I know there's non-profit hustle that's going on, but I'm just using this as an example. You feel me? From where I was able to profit from my experience, and I'll even use speaking engagements and whatnot. But I'm gonna start right here. The book is how I developed the platform. The book put me on stages across in different countries around the world, right? But there's the practical things in the book is what helped me to spark the business, to start the business. Now there's all kind of things that came with that, right? Like there was networking I had to do in between. There was relationship building I had to do in between. I was an outreach worker for a minute, etc. Before I didn't just jump off the porch and start a business and was like, let's go. You feel me? There was a lot that came in between it, right? But what I'm saying is the business was the next level. Pro State Potential was the next level of it. I was like, okay, bet. I'm an outreach worker right now. If you guys don't know what that is you go out, depending on where you are. I was an outreach worker for the Y, and I was working with young people that was impacted. And so I would go out to schools, community centers, the streets, or whatever the case may be, and I would find young people to mentor. They would put them on my caseload, and I would work with these young folks that were a lot like I was when I was younger. And I did that for 2.5 years, right? But the whole time, process, I was soaking up game. I was writing these things down. I'm studying. I'm like, okay, this is the best way to approach this. I'm taking classes. I'm taking motivational interview classes. I'm taking all kind of classes they were offering. I'm taking everything they could offer. I'm taking leadership positions as fast as I can so I could grow my leadership bone. I'm meeting people. I'm going to these different events. I'm competing in different things, all these different stuff, right? That helped me build up to get to the point where I needed to, right? And as I'm doing that, I'm not only building my Rolodex of individuals and network, I'm also building my skill set, my tool set. I'm adding more tools to my tool set, right? Because if you don't add more tools to your tool set, what you're gonna do is you're gonna think that every single nail, you're gonna think everything's a nail. You're gonna have to approach it with a hammer. If you don't got a hammer, you're gonna think everything's a nail, right? So I was adding different things to my tool set so I could build this health of success that I was working on, right? And so as I went, I'm like, okay, bet I believe I just start this route. So we was able to go and secure. Actually, we started in the living room. We started working with some young folks I was already working with on my caseload, and we brought them in the living room. Catchy Mayflower and I, the COO of Pro State Potential, we brought them into the living room. We were working with these young folks. Like, all right, bet we got these books. Let's read them together. They was like, okay, let's build out these visions and these goals together. Right? That was coming out of our pocket. We're getting them stipends and buying food and stuff out of our pocket before we were able to connect with a foundation that gave us a small grant. And it was a blessing. At that time, it was huge. You know what I mean? At that time, it was like $7,500. For us, that was a big thing. But remember what I said. From my pain point, I was able to do the most with very little. So for that 7,500, I'm like, okay, well, shit. What we can do is we can use this money and invest it all back into the young folks and get a way bigger cohort and guerrilla market the shit out of it. It's like we got a lot of money and doing a lot of big things. That was a marketing tool for y'all. If y'all didn't pick up that jewel, right? We used a little bit of money, right? We used a little bit of money got some more young people to do this cohort, and we just broke it down in videos, pictures, testimonials, and all that, and made this massive looking thing. Made it like it was $1 million organization. We was only running off of $7,500 and what we had in our personal loan account, right? But that's when you're able to be resourceful. And when we're talking about making these profits, you're gonna have to be resourceful. So what I said was the passion was bridging that gap to bring the practical lessons to these young folks and these young individuals that are impacted. And now we're like, okay, how do we create this business off of it? How do we create a business model off this, which actually ended up being a nonprofit organization, right? And from that, we invest our own money to get the license, the EIN, and all that kind of stuff, and we worked on it for free and built it out before at least people came knocking on our doors, wanted to give us money to build that stuff out. And then we was able to build to eventually get salaries of our own to where we were able to sustain at least a half a living existence, right? While I'm doing this, I'm still working, right? I'm still working. And then we kept going. I kept going and going and working and doing this. I got like 3 jobs actually. And I'm going and going and going until I was able to build enough up to have a decent salary to live on. And then I let go of those jobs. And then I jumped off the porch and was like, okay, bet. I'm all business now, right? So if you follow through the trajectory, right, and think of process the whole way through, you got this young dude that come from some bullshit. Grandma left, you feel me, in prison, went to prison, had to go through all kind of stuff, homeless on a bus, blah blah blah. Ended up going to jail, facing a life sentence at 22 years old. Figured out like, damn, this ain't it. Started have found a passion in helping young people in there with the little bit that I had. Followed that passion to release, wrote a book about it. Took that book, figured out how to dive into the model and build a business out of it to a sustainable wage. And now I'm sitting in front of you making at least 6 figures a year and still building out more shelf space in the industry we're in and figuring out ways to invest and do more stuff. Right. That was a basic piece of that. That's that pain, that's that passion, that's that profit. Now, what I want you guys to understand is that there's something that you're doing that you've been through that you're able to do the exact same thing, right? There's something that you're doing that you're able to do the exact same thing. I'm nothing exceptional. I'm not just the exception, bro. Because if that's the case, then it would my brother Sean Good said, if that's the case, then I wouldn't be encouraging you to do the same thing. That means I would be the only one that could do it. Anybody can do it, right? If you have the diligence to do it. So one thing I want to say is to give a practical example, let's make up a made up person, right? Because I do speaking engagements too. Say somebody that's been to jail before. They've been to jail. You don't even have to really have a unique case, but you went to jail for a gun charge. You want to change your life for you, and you decide I'm done with the guns. I'm done with the drugs. Blah blah blah. This shit. I lost my family because of it. I lost my connections. I don't want to do it no more. I want to start all over. So you get out of jail. That's your pain point. Your pain point is you might have lost time with your family. Your girl broke up with you, and now you're by yourself. That's your pain point, right? All right. So bang. What's the passion in this whole situation? Well, the passion is, well, look, man, I want to make sure that I can prevent other young people. I want to make sure I prevent other people. Forget it don't gotta be young people. I want to prevent other people from carrying around weapons and going to jail, or I want to make sure that they can get out and start their life all over, right? So you go and you find different individuals. You might find whoever's in your network or join. Matter of fact, you go on Facebook groups. You go and find Instagram people to follow. You can find your local people on Eventbrite, whatever these different places, and you network. You find it. Hey, I got this idea, right? I want to start doing cohorts around people about the dangers of guns and how they affect our community and how they affect everything going on. And I want to do speaking engagements on it and get it around the world. So you make different network with people that are going to help you doing that, right? If it was in Seattle, it would be maybe Seattle Foundation people. It might be United Way people. It might be the regional gun violence people. You make those different connections, right? You start doing that shit for free initially. I mean, that's how I got it going, right? Start doing that stuff for free initially. You start connecting with people. Hey, if you guys give me a space, I'll teach the class. Here's a career. I built this little quick curriculum. Here's a class. And you start doing that. You take pictures. You're making videos of it. You're living in your passion right now because you don't want nobody else to have to deal with the gun violence and do the gun thing and everything. So as you're doing that, you're marketing. You're putting it out there. This is what I'm doing. I'm working with these people. Blah blah blah. And then what happens is now, as you've got a good portfolio behind you doing that, you're going to build a network. You approach and be like, well, listen, man, I want contracts now. I need contracts to go speak about this, right? I want contracts to go speak about what I'm doing. And my experience, because you're reliving that kind of trauma. So now you got speaking engagements for 500. My first speaking engagement was $200, right? My most highest one was like 2,500, and that's for a 20-minute speaking thing. But I started with zero. And then I got to 200. Then I got to the point. So you start doing speaking engagements. Now you're signing contracts on that bank. First contract signed for $200. We'll pay you $200 every time you speak. We want you 4 times a year, right? That's $800 a year. That's nothing, but that's something, right? That's starting off. That's a profit. That's a profit. And as you continue to do that, okay, you're doing speaking engagements. Do you have a curriculum behind you to that you can go into a jail and teach, or you can go into a halfway house and teach? You can. Oh yeah, I do. Bet. Let me create this. You might not even have it, but you go create it real quick. Bang. I got a curriculum. You can, at this point, you can go to Fiverr. You can go to Fiverr for $20, $30, right? Maybe 50, maybe 100. Say you want to invest 100 in there, right? You could pay them, literally pay them to create a curriculum for you, bro, and then go charge $2,000, $3,000, $5,000, $10,000 to teach the curriculum and get a contract. So now you got a contract to teach a curriculum for 12 weeks, right? For 3 months at an institution for 10 bands. Say you do 4 of those. That's 40 bands. You feel what I'm saying? That's 40 bands. You just built 40 bands a year. Not even talk about if you raise up the prices to speaking engagements. Say you raise the price to $2,000 speaking engagement, right? You got 5 speaking engagements in 1 month. That's $10,000. You secure 4 more of those. That's $40,000 more dollars. $80,000 income you got every year. But you started from, damn, I'm in jail right now with this gun charge, and I just want to change my life. Make sure people don't use guns. You know what I'm saying? That's a real intense way of doing it, and it could be a small or whatever. You might have, like I said, you could have been molested as a young person, right? And you're like, man, listen, that should hurt my life, but I'm gonna deal with it right now. I'm gonna sit in this pain. My passion, I want to make sure no other kid gets molested and touched on. So I'm gonna start an awareness class about how to teaching parents and teaching organizations and schools how to be aware when young people are getting touched on, when something's happening to them. And I'm gonna go do this for free initially, and then after that, you get contracts with the schools, you get contracts with the mayor, you get contracts because that's a global thing. And then now you're making $250,000 a year. Matter of fact, let me follow up with a book right now about my life and how I went through it. And then now you got residual, you got passive income coming in from all that. You guys see the game right here? And I'm not trying to make you laugh at your pain. I'm not trying to make it like where it's like a small thing. Your pain is trivial. I'm saying, look, there's profit in your pain, bro. Don't leave no tear wasted. Leave no tear wasted. Every tear you've ever shed from the shit that you've been through, I want you to understand that you should figure out a passion and figure out a profit from it. And in real talk, those profits are going to be from helping other people not have to go through that same shit or figuring out how to solve the problem they went through. Leave no tear wasted. I'm saying that to my IG live too. Leave no tear wasted, bro. Because there's no reason why you have to be going through shit not getting paid for it. You feel what I'm saying? That's really what it means. What I mean when I tell you to turn your pain to passion to profits, bro. Right now, what I'm gonna give a couple extra gems in this, right? I'm gonna give a couple extra gems in this, especially on this profit part, because a lot of my young adults too, a lot of individuals, especially in our communities, we want to be fast and get to this bag hella quick. When I tell these young folks, they say I want to make. I had a young person tell me, I want to be a business owner. No, they told me I want to make $100,000 in a year. Okay, that's dope. Well, that's very doable. It's actually easy. Once you make the money, you be like, damn, this shit ain't really enough anyway. To be honest with you, but I'm like, okay, bet I get that. All right, so how you want to do that? Well, I'm gonna start a business. Okay, you want to start a business? All right. Well, what kind of business we talking about? I don't know yet. I don't really know, but I'm gonna start a business. Well, all right. Well, then, do you have a job right now? Do you got some? Nah. So he's gonna jump and start a bit. That shit ain't free. Listen, first of all, bro, look, what I want people to understand is like, it don't just be, I'm just gonna start a business. That shit costs money. You gotta cost to file, get your EI. It costs money, right? It costs, you gotta put some money in and just to get the name started, right? We're not even talking about if you're marketing, if you're putting out ads. We're not talking about paying to be in spaces, to get in rooms, to be around the people you need to get the business going. We're not talking about none of that yet. You feel what I'm saying? That shit costs money. So what I'm saying is this, what I told that young person, I'm like, man, first of all, bro, and this is what I push, man, this is my own personal opinion. I feel like you get some kind of source of income first. Get a source of income first. Get your first source of income, right? I don't care what it is. That's not my job. That whatever it is, it's whatever your first source of income. My first source of income was me working at the YMCA. That's what I was doing. I was working at the YMCA. That was my first source of income. So once you get your first source of income, then you got that security coming in. Then you want to focus on, hold up, wait a minute. How's your living situation? right? How you living? Because I promise you like this, right? How you're living is going to reflect on your business. And I'm gonna tell you that how you're living is gonna reflect on your business. Your business grows or deflates at the same speed that the person that owns it does. I'm gonna give you that game right now, right? How's your living situation? Do you have a roof over your head? Do you have a sufficient amount of food in your belly? You get what I'm saying? I know you guys hear the Steve Harvey stories and all that, sleeping out the car and all that. That shit, whatever the case may be. That doesn't happen all the time, whoever the fuck it may be, right? Listen, it happens like this, bro. How's your living situation? You get your first income coming in. You want to make sure that you got a roof over your head. You got a sufficient amount of food. You got a sufficient amount of food, water, clothes in your back, etc. Because then now you're moving up that Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Now you're getting a little up there. You're like, okay, bang. Then you can get to that self-sufficient, that self-awareness part. Now it's like, all right, bet. All this money is going to my expenses. All this money is going to my rent, my food, my clothes, my I don't know if you got child support, transportation, blah, blah, blah. Then what I advise you to do, this is me personally, I got another job. I was working with Bill to Lead. So now I got more money coming in. Okay, this is my other money coming in. This money is what I'm gonna use to invest. Right? This is the money I'm gonna use to start my business. You know what I mean? That's how I'm gonna use my put up front. That's the money I paid to start my nonprofit to get the license I needed, the charitable organization stuff that I needed. That's some of the money I had from there was what I used to buy the stuff for the young people to get some of them stipends, all that kind of stuff. Right? It's called 9 to 5 and 5 to 9. You feel what I'm saying? What do? You do your 9 to 5, you got your 5 to 9 that you work on your after business, right? However you want to set up. I don't know your hours, but whatever the case may be. But I use that money to invest into my business. So what you want to do is you get your first line of income, or maybe even your first two sources of income, whatever. First line of income, make sure your living situation is dope. And then after that, what you do is you get another source of income. You use that to invest in your business to get your business going, whatever that business is, right? Whatever that business is, you get that going, right? And as you go through that process, right? You're going through that process and you be patient with the process. Move diligently, but be patient with the process because the process is building you and trust that process is going to work out for you because you have to go through it to get to it. And again, like I said, if you miss steps, you will miss steps. You get what I'm saying? So as I'm doing that, I'm investing in my own business. I'm still working these two other jobs, and then finally was able to get something that sustained us to where like I could detach from my other jobs and get to where I wanted to go. Right. So that was the whole process. But I had to have that source of income, those two sources of income coming in first before I did that. I didn't just jump off the porch and hop into business and saying this is how we're gonna get it popping. All right. That's the whole way that I did it, bro. Um, Again, like I said, is like people don't understand that there's a lot that you can derive from that shit that you've been through. There's a lot that you can build out of it. There's a lot that you can come from it, right? I don't want nobody to ever waste any of that. You feel what I'm saying? That's the whole purpose of my existence, to make sure that people that been through some stuff are able to make sure that they win big in the end. You feel what I'm saying? I don't care if you took a million losses. I want you to take a billion wins later, right? And there's going to be losses in between those two, but and that's another thing is like it's a perceived loss because though every loss is really a lesson. It just depends on how you perceive it. You get what I'm saying? And that sounds cliche, but it's the real talk because I could have perceived me going to jail, going to prison, and sitting and missing time with my kids and all that kind of stuff. I could have perceived that as a loss. Like, damn, I lost all that time. But really, I gained hella time because I move at light speed now because it was like, it happened to be like the yo yo effect. You feel me? I was held back and then let go, and now I'm going. You get what I'm saying? So I don't want you guys to ever feel like the shit that you've been through is the end all tell all. You took these major losses because really it's just a lesson for you to eventually be able to turn everything that you need to into where you need to go. You feel what I'm saying? And so for my IG community, man, I want to say what's up, big ups. I'll open it up to a couple more minutes or any questions and answers anybody might have. Um, live on a podcast right now. I want to say what's up. Oh, my guy, New Genesis Cuts. Big up, see you, brother. This is a brother I did time with. He has a dope barber. I think he's a barber shop now, or mobile cuts. I think right now, man, he's fire. Go check out his profile, man. He's doing his thing. He's somebody that actually turned his pain to passion and profits. I remember he was telling me about cutting who was inside. So that's a living result of that, man. And again, a couple more minutes for question and answers. I told you guys if you guys need any of these books, The Prolific Hustle, How to Turn Your Pain to Passion and Profits, go ahead and DM me Prolific. Let me know that you was on the live podcast. I'll give you a good discount, man. But anyways, I'll close off like this. If I don't see anything coming in, I'll close off like this, right? Again, do not allow not one tear to be wasted, right? Because if you're living, if your heart's beating and you're breathing, you still got that pin in your head. And you still have access and the opportunity to turn your pain to passion and profits. Stay focused and be prolific. Let's go.